So this for your assignment, you have to think of how companies use certain decisions in their strategy, in their digital business strategy. We have to think, for example, in the decision one, they will prioritize channels, which channels are more effective for them, right? In this case, maybe if we're talking a company that sells online jewelry, their offline channel will be more convenient for them, so they have to focus on the offline but with support with the online. Maybe you can look at the prices online, you can look at the sizes, dimensions, qualities of the jewelry, but the final product is bought on the offline store. We also think of the decision tool, which is how can we use the technology for market and product development. So in this case, how can we use a lot of information data, connect with the consumer in order to develop better market, well, how to reach the market more effectively and how to develop the product in a more effective way, right? That goes to the next thing. Also, together with the data, we're going to think of how are we going to use the data to position ourselves, what kind of product we want to be, where in the market we're going to be situated, and how are we going to segment that market, how we're going to differentiate ourselves online. Because again, the online is a red ocean or a blue ocean. You have to think of how am I going to be unique or not. Then we have to think of the business and revenue models. We have to think, in this case, how are we going to generate more money in case you're a digital platform or an application? How are you going to generate money, right? Some of them is like we're selling products, that's okay, but when we're looking for applications, how do you generate from advertising, etc., etc. Also, for example, for some companies, decision 5 is how you're going to restructure the marketplace. So in this case, for example, Airbnb restructured the marketplace because rather than having hotels, they thought of connecting consumers. Uber as well is an example of they completely changed the market because they disintermediate, like for example, the hotel company. So they make consumers to connect with each other, right? We also think of decisions in the terms of the supply chain management. In this case, we can think of how we're going to improve our supply chain with technology, better inventories, better records, better supply, better control. Then we have decision 7, which is internal knowledge management capabilities. We manage also all the knowledge that we have inside, how we use it effectively, how we connect it, and how we make sure that there's no silos in the company. And how, of course, how we can do it better. And then we have the decision 8, which is organizational resources and capabilities. If we have everything connected, if we have internal knowledge, how we use it effectively? How can we use the lack of resources or the useful resources that we have in the most effective way, right? So in this case, you're gonna be doing for your assignment this company that they sell the razors. So for them, it's a very effective business because they restructure the market in a way of selling razors that no other company was doing. They redesigned, they rethought, they had some extra supplies from razors. The owner had a supply for X reasons. You can read that in the material that I give you. So in this case, look at the information, read what they've done, and see what decisions have been critical for them. Choose some that you think, like, by choosing their positioning, they took the decision 3, and the example is they did it in this way and this way and this way. Okay, very good. So again, once we define which areas we are going to be implementing, comes the implementation. And this is the process where we do it and we'll see how it works. Whether it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So now, when we think of a success factors that help that digital business implementation, we have to think of a couple things. So first of all, in terms of content, the content is presented effectively, that the product shows convenience, that the digital technologies that we have are convenient enough to use, that we are able to control and understand how the data moves, how the information flows, and how we're using effectively. We have complete control of everything. We also have to make sure that with this digital transformation, the interaction happens between us and the consumer. We know what they want, we connect with them, we create a community, and we listen to that community, because it's not just listening to them, it's also taking actions for that. We also need to understand the price sensitivity, how much they're willing to pay, and based on online, what is the perception of the product. In this case, we can get the sense of what the consumers think of the brand, how much they're willing to pay, or if it goes too strong, then too high, they are not willing to pay for it. And then, of course, we need commitment. When we think of the digital business strategy, again, when we look, for example, at Facebook or Netflix, no? Facebook it has a commitment for constantly improving, giving more services, and so on. So it happens a lot, right? We also think of the partnership. When we don't have that strength in a certain technical aspect, then we need someone else. As for example, Netflix uses some of the Amazon AWS services and also some of Microsoft. So they use a little bit of their technical expertise that they don't have in order to be successful at this digital strategy. They also, like I said, Facebook or Netflix are constantly improving their processes, how they can change the business, how they can improve it, how they can deliver better services. And last but not least, integration. Like I said, no silos, no information broke down throughout the supply chain. So we have, in this case, we have the business alignment information strategy, which is generated from business strategy through techniques such as critical success factors analysis. So in this case, for example, we look at the success factors that we know that work, like we read just now, and then based on that, we craft a strategy. So it means it's more based on information that we previously have. And then we have the business impact strategy, which in this case is looking at potential improvements into the strategy, right? Here we are, rather than being more analytical into what already has worked, we work into what could possibly work. We're more visionary in this sense. Okay. So in this case, also, we have to take decisions about which business applications to invest in. So we are going to do operational value investment. We're going to invest more in the operation itself to make it more effective. Are we going to do it more holistic in terms of the strategic value investment? It is more at the company level. Are we going to do it at the threshold investment? That means it doesn't generate much value, it's costly, but we have to do it because the competitors are already there. And then, of course, we have to follow up with them. And then, of course, we have the infrastructure investment, which looks at more of the hardware, how we're going to spend in more hardware to also deliver better services. Okay, and well, that's it for today. Today is a bit longer, but there's many things to explain. So anyways, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week.